Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Zach Sieler's rise with the Miami Dolphins is nothing short of extraordinary, from being a 7th-round pick by the Baltimore Ravens in 2018 to becoming the heart and soul of the Dolphins' defense. His journey is a blueprint of perseverance. Picked up by Miami in 2019, Sieler didn't just join the roster, he fought his way into the starting lineup by 2020. That kind of grit doesn't go unnoticed in the league. Over the past few seasons, he has turned himself into one of the top 10 edge rushers in the entire NFL, consistently disrupting offenses and earning the respect of fans and analysts alike. When the Dolphins signed him to a 3-year, $30.75 million extension in 2023, it was viewed as a smart move. But now, looking back, that contract is arguably one of the best bargains in the NFL. Sieler has outperformed every expectation, and it's not even close now. With training camp just around the corner, all eyes are back on Zach Sieler, but for a very different reason. After the absolutely dominant seasons, many around the league believe he's underpaid, and they're not wrong. In 2023 and 2024 combined, Sieler racked up 10 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, 41 quarterback hits, and 118 tackles. He didn't just play well, he flat-out dominated. He was disruptive in the trenches, showed awareness and coverage with 2 interceptions, and even took one of those picks to the house. Those kinds of plays change games and seasons. He's not just a stat sheet guy, he's a game changer. But here's the catch. While other elite edge rushers are making over $20 million per year, Sieler's current deal is paying him roughly half of that. And yet, he's not holding out. He's been a full participant this offseason. Enter Ryan Fitzpatrick, the former Dolphins quarterback and one of the more respected voices in football media. Fitz took to social media recently to voice his support for Sieler, and let's just say he didn't mince words. Fitzpatrick praised Sieler not only for his production, but also for his leadership and consistency, calling him the unsung hero of Miami's defense. Fitz knows what it's like in that locker room. He's been there, shared the huddle, and watched guys like Sieler grind it out day in and day out. So when someone like Fitzpatrick speaks up, people listen. His message was clear. The Dolphins need to take care of Sieler before this becomes a distraction or, worse, a point of contention in the locker room, because make no mistake, the locker room sees everything and they're watching how this plays out. Let's put some numbers into perspective. Bradley Chubb, who was acquired by the Dolphins via trade and signed to a big money deal shortly after, is making $20 million per year. That puts him just inside the top 10 highest paid edge rushers in the NFL now. Compare that with Sieler's contract, same team, same position group, but a massive pay gap. In 2023, both Chubb and Sieler had 11 tackles for loss. Chubb edged Sieler out by a single sack that year. But in 2024, the tables turned. Chubb missed the entire season due to injury, and Sieler picked up the slack and then some. He led the team in sacks, TFLs, quarterback hits, you name it. He was also named the Dolphins team MVP, an honor that speaks volumes about his impact on and off the field. It's hard to argue against the fact that he deserves more. Despite all that, Sieler has shown nothing but professionalism. He hasn't skipped workouts. He hasn't gone to the media to complain. No cryptic social media posts. No drama, just work. And that's part of what makes this situation so compelling. You've got a player who's clearly outperformed his deal, clearly deserves more money, and yet chooses to show up and lead by example. That's the kind of mentality coaches dream of. But it also raises a serious question for the front office. Are you really going to let a guy like that play under a deal that doesn't match his value? Because the longer this goes unresolved, the more tension it could create, not just with Sieler, but within the entire roster. Players talk. They know who's getting paid and who isn't, and it sends a message. The Dolphins haven't exactly been known for rewarding their stars lately. From contract disputes to letting key veterans walk, Miami's front office has taken a more cautious approach with their cap space, but at some point, that can backfire. When players see that top-tier production isn't being rewarded, it impacts morale. And Sieler's case is the perfect litmus test. He's not just any player. He's one of the most productive, consistent, and respected guys on that team. You let someone like that feel undervalued, and you risk a ripple effect throughout the roster. The Dolphins have a chance right now to make a statement, not just to Sieler, but to everyone in that locker room. The message: do your job at a high level. and you'll be taken care of. So far, that message has been blurry at best. And here's the thing, there's no guarantee Sealer stays this quiet. It's one thing to stay professional in the off-season, but once the pads come on, the games start counting and hit start flying, emotions change, players see the physical toll this game takes. And when you're giving everything you've got and still not getting paid like your peers, frustration can build. That's not a knock on Sealer, it's human nature. We've seen it time and time again in the NFL. Holdouts, trade requests, tensions boiling over. The Dolphins are playing a dangerous game by not addressing this now while things are still calm. Because if Sealer decides to make a stand, it'll be hard to blame him. In fact, most fans and analysts would likely be on his side. What's even more fascinating is how this situation could affect the Dolphins' season. This team has serious playoff aspiration, the defense is stacked with talent, and Sealer is a cornerstone of that unit. Disruptions, whether from contract disputes or locker room unease, can derail momentum quickly, especially in a league where parity rules and every edge matters. If Sealer starts the season feeling disrespected or distracted, it's not just his performance that could dip, it could impact the entire defensive front. Chemistry matters, energy matters, and Sealer brings both in spades. He's not just a pass rusher, he's a tone setter. Lose that edge, and it can have a domino effect on the entire defense. That's what makes this more than just a contract story, it's a potential turning point. It's worth noting, too, that other teams are watching. The NFL is a small world. GMs, coaches, players, they all keep tabs. And you can bet there are franchises out there who would love to have a guy like Sealer anchoring their defensive line. If Miami doesn't pay him, someone else will. That's the reality. Edge rushers who can stop the run, pressure the quarterback, and drop into coverage don't grow on trees. Add leadership and consistency to that package, and you've got a rare commodity. The Dolphins unearthed a gem in Sealer, but they can't afford to take that for granted. Because if he ever hits the open market, whether via trade demand or free agency, there will be a line of teams ready to open their wallets. Miami still holds the cards, but time is ticking. In the end, this is about more than just numbers on a contract. It's about culture, it's about respect, it's about doing right by the guys who put it all on the line for your franchise. Zach Sealer has done everything right on the field, in the locker room, and in the community. He's earned every bit of recognition and reward that comes with being a top-tier player. The Dolphins have a golden opportunity to reinforce a winning culture by locking him up with a deal that matches his value. If they don't, they risk not just losing a great player, but undermining the very foundation they're trying to build. Sealer has shown up, stepped up, and leveled up. Now it's time for the front office to do the same. This story is far from over, but how it ends is entirely in the Dolphins' hands. Still with us? Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? Rumors are swirling around the Miami Dolphins training camp this week, and the buzz is getting louder by the hour. According to several close sources and whispers coming out of the Dolphins facility, franchise quarterback TUA TAGOVAILOA has reportedly requested an immediate trade following a heated altercation with star wide receiver TYREEK. The argument allegedly erupted during a closed practice session, with tensions escalating to the point where team staff had to intervene. While no official statement has been released by the team, insiders claim the disagreement wasn't just a simple clash over play calling or execution. It was deeply personal and emotionally charged. Eyewitnesses suggest voices were raised, helmets may have been thrown, and what seemed like a routine training day quickly spiraled into chaos. If these reports are true, this could signal a seismic shift in the Dolphins' locker room dynamic and cast serious doubt over their upcoming season. The Dolphins might be headed for stormy waters. The core of the conflict, according to those present, appears to stem from growing frustrations between TUA and Hill over leadership roles and accountability on the field. Sources suggest that Hill confronted TUA during a drill about his accuracy and decision-making, comments that TUA didn't take lightly. What was supposed to be constructive criticism allegedly turned into a verbal showdown, with both players exchanging heated words in front of teammates. Those familiar with the situation say this isn't the first time there's been tension between the two, but this incident took things to another level entirely. It's worth noting that TYREEK has always been known for his fiery personality and unfiltered honesty, while TUA has generally maintained a more reserved and composed demeanor. The clash of these temperaments might have finally reached a breaking point. Now, there's talk around the league that TUA's trade request is real, and that conversations are already happening behind the scenes with multiple teams. What makes this even more intriguing is the timing. Training camp is supposed to be when chemistry is built and trust is strengthened. Instead, the Dolphins are now facing an internal crisis that could derail their preparations before the season even begins. Some insiders believe this argument was just the tip of the iceberg, revealing deeper fractures in the relationship between Miami's biggest offensive stars. Reports indicate that tensions have been building for months, with Hill at times growing frustrated with Tua's hesitancy in the pocket and occasional inconsistencies under pressure. Meanwhile, Tua has reportedly felt undermined by Hill's vocal criticism and the wide receiver's tendency to speak his mind to the media. The team has tried to downplay these issues, but today's news suggests they can no longer keep them under wraps. The locker room is said to be divided, with some players siding with Tua and others with Hill. The drama in Miami is just beginning. Now, fans are left to wonder what this means for the future of the Dolphins' offense. Tua Tagovailoa, once hailed as the cornerstone of the franchise, could be on his way out before he's even had the chance to fully realize his potential in Miami. The 2024 season was supposed to be a statement year for him, a chance to silence doubters and prove that he can lead the Dolphins deep into the playoffs. But this reported trade request throws everything into uncertainty. League insiders say that at least 3 teams have already inquired about Tua's availability, including quarterback-needy franchises that see him as a potential long-term solution. If this trade does go through, it could reshape not only the Dolphins' offense, but the quarterback landscape across the NFL. And with the season just around the corner, time is running out for the Dolphins to get ahead of this crisis. Could Miami be preparing to move on from Tua? TYREEK Hill, for his part, has yet to address the rumors publicly, but sources close to the situation suggest he's not backing down from his stance. He reportedly feels that as a veteran and one of the highest-paid players on the roster, he has a responsibility to demand excellence from those around him, including the quarterback. Some say his confrontational style comes from a place of passion and a desire to win, while others argue it crosses the line into being disruptive. It's a classic case of alpha personalities clashing in a high-pressure environment. And now it's up to the Dolphins' leadership to figure out how, or if these two stars can coexist moving forward. Head coach Mike McDaniel is said to be in a delicate position, trying to mediate between his quarterback and his star receiver while also maintaining team unity. But the longer this drags on, the harder it will be to keep the locker room focused and intact. What's particularly shocking is how fast this situation seems to have unraveled. Just a few months ago, Tua and Hill were posting workout videos together, laughing at press conferences, and hyping up their chemistry on social media. Fans believe this duo could become one of the most dangerous QB combinations in the league. But something clearly shifted behind the scenes, and now those same fans are left wondering whether they were fooled by a fade. This is the side of professional sports we don't often see: the emotional toll, the ego battles, and the fragile balance of team dynamics. If Tua's request is genuine, it raises a fundamental question. Can a quarterback truly lead a team if he's lost the trust or the respect of his top weapon? And if not, is it better for both sides to part ways now, rather than letting resentment fester throughout the season? The Dolphins are facing a tough decision. There's also speculation that this incident could impact contract negotiations. Tua is heading into a critical phase of his career, and talks about a long-term extension were expected to heat up this offseason. But how can the front office confidently commit to a massive deal if there's friction with a key offensive piece like Hill? Conversely, if they side with Hill, does that mean they're willing to give up on Tua entirely? These are the kinds of dilemmas that define franchises. And with the AFC looking more competitive than ever, the Dolphins can't afford to make the wrong call. The front office is reportedly scrambling to manage the fallout. But as more details emerge, it's becoming harder to spin this as a minor disagreement. This has the makings of a franchise-altering moment, and if the Dolphins aren't careful, it could set them back years. Every move from here on out will be under a microscope. Analysts around the league are already chiming in, with opinions split down the middle. Some believe Tua's trade request is just a power play away to assert control and push back against Hill's influence. Others think it's a genuine cry for help, a sign that he feels unsupported and disrespected within the organization. Either way, the optics aren't great. A young quarterback demanding a trade because of a locker room spat doesn't exactly inspire confidence, but at the same time, if the environment has become toxic, can you really blame him for wanting out? This isn't college football, where players have limited options. In the NFL, players are increasingly using their leverage to shape their own destinies. And if Tua truly believes that a change of scenery is what's best for his career, it's hard to fault him for making that move, especially if the trust with Hill is beyond repair. The situation also shines a light on Miami's overall team culture. Are these just two isolated personalities clashing? Or is there a deeper issue within the Dolphins locker room? Leadership starts at the top. And right now, questions are being asked about whether the coaching staff and front office have done enough to manage egos and foster a unified team identity. This isn't the first time Miami has dealt with internal drama, and if they don't find a way to resolve this quickly, it won't be the last. The next few weeks will be crucial. If Tua is indeed traded, it could set off a domino effect impacting not just the quarterback room, but also the morale of the entire roster. Players talk, and once cracks begin to show, it becomes much harder to keep everyone aligned toward a common goal. What happens next could determine the fate of the Dolphins' 2024 campaign and beyond. As of now, all eyes are on Miami. Fans are refreshing their timelines, beat reporters are chasing every hint of confirmation, and rival teams are quietly circling, waiting to see if they can swoop in and make a deal. The Dolphins, who had so much promise entering this season, now find themselves at a crossroads. Will they patch things up between Tua and TYREEK and salvage what could still be a very dangerous offense? Or will they cut their losses, move their quarterback, and try to reset before things spiral even further? Nothing is official yet. But where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and right now, the flames in Miami are burning bright for a team that was one of the hottest preseason picks to make a deep playoff run. This is the kind of internal turmoil that can completely derail a season. Whatever happens, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!